What's going on, friends? Welcome back to the Honeystead. We finally did it. We finally decided that it was time to go ahead and move the girls over. And if you guys have been here for a little while, you probably have heard me talk about the vision and thoughts on different locations here on our homestead on where we could move them. One of them is up by the barn. We had a perfect little area that we started to clear out specifically to put the bees there. But that kind of fell through because I do have kids that are older that hopefully are going to want to, put some roots down on this property. So I've got to kind of like take that into consideration. Then I spoke about possibly cutting away from our pasture area and adding the bees into there. And that was an option as well. And I even thought about putting them down on my lower part of the pasture area. But I decided that I like seeing them. I like coming up here and being a part of them and being able to see what's... Moose, did you just burp in my face? Okay, sir. And, I don't want to put them too far away, but I do want to be able to see them. So we decided that this area right here would be a perfect spot. Now when it comes to moving bees, this is where you can kind of run into a little bit of a pickle. If I would have just picked up the entire hive and moved the entire colony over here without locking them up, all of those bees that were still out foraging, they would have gone back to their location unless I would have moved them completely off of my property outside of their radius. Now bees have a flight radius that's about 2.5 miles around their main mother colony, and they're so smart. They know exactly where to come back to, and it would have broken my heart if I would have just moved them and then come out and had thousands of bees, looking for their home. So what I decided to do is go ahead and the evening, not last night, the night before, so it'd be about 36 hours all in all. If I look at the time, they've been locked up for 36 hours. So the other evening I came out here and I completely screened off their entrance and blocked any of them from coming out. They had already returned back home. We had a cold snap, so I've kind of been like, thank you, because really, honestly, it's kind of perfect weather. It's perfect temperature. They're not flying anyways. Their hives, they're in their hive and they're nice and cool. And I really didn't want to lock them up when it was too hot. Plus, the nectar flow is just starting, and honestly, I don't want my mistake from setting up my first apiary to negatively affect them. So I'm trying to work with them. I wanted to kind of get this done earlier in the winter, but I knew we were going to get a couple of cold snaps because our weather is all over the place this time of year. We had a little bit of a tough winter this year when it comes to colony loss. I will say I had 3 dead outs that were just not, they were just dead out. I knew that some of them were weak going into winter, and I tried to do the best that I can, but when it comes down to it, sometimes it's survival of the fittest. And as sad as it is sometimes with losing a few of your colonies over winter, it kind of is sometimes what it is. Definitely, it hurts, it sucks, but I've said this from the very beginning of beekeeping, you are going to lose bees, but it's not a failure, because if you really think about it, it comes down to what is the purpose of the bees, and that is for pollination, that is, to help with the plants and the growth and all of that, and if you look at it like that, then it's not a failure. Now, the colonies that I have here are pretty hardy, and after they get settled into this space, I'm going to actually start going in and making all of my nukes. We had a couple really good ones. I got a beautiful picture of one of my golden queens that I have, and I'm hoping to pull a few frames from my strongest colonies when it comes to making nukes and hope that they, you know, reproduce and make beautiful queens, and hope that they pick perfect eggs for their next generation of beautiful queens. But this space is definitely one that I've been waiting for quite some time, and I'm very excited to see it all kind of come to fruition. So I have some more work to do. We are going to put electric around the top. I've had a couple of people comment, you know, that electric needs to be at the bottom. Honestly, the fence is going to be pretty high, and it's going to be a nice sturdy fence, but what I found is having electric at the top has been a lot better for us when it comes to the bear, because they will try to jump over, and what will they hit? And that'll be their soft little nose. And that has been a great deterrent. We also have camera systems now, like around, which, you know, that's going to be nice for me to be able to, like, just, you know, turn the camera on and watch what's happening. I'm probably going to be staring at that like a baby monitor. Yeah, I never had baby monitors when I had my babies, but I have monitors when I have my bees out here. But the temperature is definitely warming up, and the sun is shining, and I think that it's time to go ahead and open up these girls, and they might fly, they might not. It's still a little cold, but I wanted to bring the camera with me so you guys can kind of be a part of this. But beekeeping is my biggest passion, you know, and herbalism is right there with it. And, you know, the way I look at it, I can't have the herbs without the bees, and I can't have the bees without the herbs. So, plus, as an herbalist, I get to make some really cool stuff from all of the beeswax and the honey and the propolis, and there's going to be a lot more that I get to share with you very soon, actually. Hey, sweet girls, are you ready to come out? I know, I'm sorry. I promise you're going to like your new home, though. Just in case if the girls are a little bit spicy, I'm going to go ahead and just suit up. I don't like getting stung in my face, but when we set up the bees, we initially, I have them facing the direction of the sun, sunrise, and then all of the hive stands we put at a little bit of an angle, sloped forward. In my last apiary, there were a couple of hive stands that were tilted back just a little bit, and that tilting back actually caused a few of my bottom boards to get a little wet, and that's actually a few of the colonies that I lost over the winter. I don't know if maybe they settled or what happened, but you know, it is what it is sometimes, and you do your best that you possibly can. You know, I'm beekeeping, there's so many different ways to keep bees and so many different techniques. I am not the one to tell you that there is, you know, one way to do this. I just share with you the way that I do it, and, you know, be open-minded in all aspects. I mean, even as many years as I've been keeping bees, I still learn everything. I still learn something every single day, and that's the beauty of all of this is, you know, we're not supposed to go through life already knowing everything. And when it comes to beekeeping, it can be scary and intimidating because there's so many different ways. But again, you do the best that you possibly can. And in the end, you know, the bees really are your ultimate teachers. I left my hive tool, so I am gonna use a little stick. Now, for me to, hi, I know, you're like, what is happening? You gotta see this little face. Look at that little face in there. Hi. Okay. All right. It's definitely cold, so I don't really anticipate them flying too much. Now what I am gonna do though is I'm also gonna kind of just, you know, put something in front of the entrance that they have to kind of work through to come out. I want them to really reorientate, and later today I'll probably grab the camera if it warms up enough, and we'll come out here and hopefully I can film this if it's warm enough. I'm not 100% sure if it's going to be warm enough today, but tomorrow we can kind of check back. But bees will do this thing called an orientation flight. It's typically when bees get to their foraging age, where they are their first time flight. And so their first time flight, they will come out of their hive, and they will actually fly up in the air and do this really cool circular motion where they're flying around and they're just kind of like orientating themselves to like, where is home? And then they'll come back home. So all the girls are opened up, and I put a little bit of straw and some grass just around the entrance, just to kind of give them a little bit of barricade to work their way out. I'm going to probably come back and I'll watch the temperatures here in the next day or two, and maybe we'll get some footage of them being a little more active. It's cold and they're a little sluggish, and I don't blame them. I want to go get all toasty inside my home. So anyways, I'll keep you guys posted on the bees, and then of course as we complete this apiary space. And yeah, as always, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty and learn something out. Bye guys.